Okay, good morning guys. Picking up where I left off yesterday. Where I left off yesterday. Where I left off on stream yesterday was I sculpted a horse. So basically, since I've sculpted a horse, I've then gone on to sculpt a camel as well. So you can look forward to a few undead camel riders at some point in the near future. So there we go, we've got one horse, we've got one camel. So initially I thought I was going to be able to modify the horse into a camel. And that was true to a point. Some of the leg bones I managed to reuse, but it turns out camel's quite different anatomically to a horse. Quite a bit more than I actually thought. In fact, a camel is absolutely freaky looking. I mean, look at the mouth, look at the face, the skull on this thing. I've got to put some like little seam lines in them still, but you got these like little pointy teeth at the front, and then you got like flat teeth at the back, and it looks absolutely alien, that thing does. Do you know what I mean? I don't think for the most part you would see this skeleton and go, yep, that's a camel. Same for the horse for that matter though. The body of the horse fair enough, but the head I think is freaky, man. The only thing I think I need to do with the horse, I'm just going to drag the ribcage down a bit. I think the ribcage is too short, too shallow. And I think I've screwed up a little bit here on the bottom of the rib cage, so I'm just going to change something here. I realised this when I was making the camel's one. So the camel's rib cage I've actually left hollow. The ribs are thick enough that it can carry the weight, but I didn't want to. I kind of didn't want to box in the camel's ribs because it's just so much bigger. Horse I thought actually is small enough that I can get away with leaving it solid, but that's not the case for the camel. Right, there we go. Sorted. That's better. Okay, so horse and camel done. Okay. So what I need to do now is I need to take both of these. I'm going to make a couple of different versions of them. So we need like a little sand dune to start with. So we'll take a sphere out. I need to just double check the size of this in terms of footprint, so let me just find a ruler. Oh my god, I've not got a ruler in the scene. Is it in here? Ah, there it is. So there's normally always a ruler in the scene. Right, now I know the print bed is about 60mm at the widest point for allowing support still. So we don't want to go wider than 60mm. So we'll try and keep it 60mm diameter. So let's just drop a cylinder in. So we're going to act as our base. How big do we need for the camel to stand on? Okay, so that big will come to do it. So I think that is about 60mm actually, to be fair. Shade over. Let me just shrink it down a touch. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60mm. Okay, so next thing to do is divide this a couple of times, delete the lower divisions. I'm just going to dynamesh it. And I'm just going to use rotational symmetry, radial symmetry, rather, not rotational. And I just want to taper the edges, bevel the edges down. So it's going to increase my brush size. Let's turn off the Sculptress Pro mode. And I want to bump my radial count to 100 because that's going to make this short work then. I'm going to bevel the edge touch. This is going to be a sand dune. Obviously this isn't going to be a sand dune because this is a... What's going on here? Why is this skewed? It's because for some reason it's not in the centre. Let's try that again. Right, if the thing's not centred and you can't centre it, your options are twofold. You either centre it and suck it up and then reposition it again afterwards, or you have to click on the L-sim button. The L-sim button only works if it's still upright and able to have symmetry applied to it. So if you rotate a model at 45 degrees and then try and L-sim it, it's not going to work. There is, I believe, posable symmetry. So I think if you use posable symmetry, it may be viable to pose it and still work on it symmetrically. But once if you've got any asymmetrical details on there, it certainly doesn't work. I stopped trying to use that a long time ago. Just could never get it to actually physically work properly. Right, here we go. We're going to drop this into here. Let me move the dude out of the way. Let's pop him over here. Hide that ruler. If you saw that, something weird happened. I don't know what it was. Do you know, I just realised I made this into a sphere. I didn't even a round base. It probably doesn't even need to be round. I may reshape it. At least it gives me a bounding area to work to, though. I know not to exceed that. If I don't exceed that, I'm in the right kind of size. Whilst we're dealing with sand dunes here, so it's going to be like a big mound basically. Okay, so I've hidden the one camel, I've cloned my camel. I'm going to take this over here. I'm going to take them. Oh, now let's turn symmetry off first. Ghost mode on, not because it's a dead camel, but because it lets me actively select the things that are in the back. Okay, so I just want to bring that down. So move the rotation point, the pivot point backwards. Mask off the next section. There we go. Just make sure it's auto groups. I've got a feeling I've copied and pasted toes and things, so certain joints are going to be sharing polygroups. Yeah, so it turns out on analysis camel skeletons are very much different from horses, which it sounds a silly thing to have to say, but I actually wasn't expecting it to be that different. My initial thought was I'll sculpt a horse and then I'll just turn it into a camel later. Sounds like that's not really a thing. You can't really do that. And I did end up reusing certain bits, but for the most part it was having to be sculpted fresh. I just need to check this. I've got a feeling I might have got this camel's knee back to front, so yeah, I was right. The front legs actually do bend the other way. Okie doke. Duplicate this. Let's right. There's a setting. I can't remember where it is now. It's to do with the maximum brush size. Basically, I want to increase my draw size beyond 1,000. Let me just Google it a sec. Right, so it's in my draw menu, it says. Draw size 1,000. That's going to be in preferences draw. There we go. So maximum brush size, I want this to be 2,000 for this one, say 3,000. Yeah, 3,000 sorted, that's good. I've done this a few times in the past where I've sculpted something and been frustrated that the brush size is so small. It's good to know that you can change the maximum brush size beyond 1,000. Hey Dennis, how we doing, mate? You're keeping well, dude. Back on all the old footsaw minis today. How are you doing, Dennis? What have you been up to? You made anything new recently? Hey Rich, mate. Well, you know, yesterday on stream I was making this skeletal horse Well, today is going to be Dead in the Dunes. Oops. But I also made a camel afterwards. So I'm giving the camel the same treatment. So the camel is basically going to end up, well, he is already dead in the dunes. So I've clearly screwed something up there with a little bit of moving stuff, but not the end of the world. How are you doing today, Rich? Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. How'd you get on with your painting the other night, doing the Talarius guys? I managed to get my one. Well, I say finished. She was mostly done. Fina was, but then I've moved on to Hob Hunter before I actually finished the rest of the paint job on Fina, which I should have done because I've got a terrible habit of like starting something, doing so much, and then moving on to another one. So I've got like dozens and dozens and dozens of like partially finished miniatures. Which is kind of worse than having like lots of unfinished miniatures, you know, because I'd rather it's more of a kind of a pressing call on my time when I look at these models that I know need finishing than I do when I look at all the grey ones that need to be started. So, let me just show you the Hob Hunter paint job. Pretty happy with the way it went. I was doing this morning actually. Just trying to get his armour like blocked in grey. There's a little bit more contrast needed in the actual armour panels themselves. But otherwise, I'm fairly happy with him, and he's ready to go on to the next stage. Get all these levers and stuff in. The cleric and the bard from Chalk and Look at It 2 years ago. Mate, I sculpted them back in 2016. I still haven't painted those two models, so. You're doing better than I am. Right, I'm going to merge these two bits together. I'm going to polish without the grouping. I'm going to come in with a clay brush now, and I'm just going to try and fill some of these bits up. Because I want this to be quite soft, I'm going to use the clay brush instead of using the clay build-up brush, which is what I normally would do. Let me just have a little look at sand. Yeah, non-metallic. I've done an NMM on all of them for the Crystal Collapse game. It's been hard going. City Watch next. Your one. images of sand dunes in the desert. I haven't until recently. I normally do true metallic metal because I use the metallics and then, you know, physically paint darker shades for the shadows and the highlights and all that kind of stuff. But I thought because these guys are in a real anime style, they really do need to be, you know, like actually properly. Do I do like the dune pattern on the sand on these, do you think? Or do you think it's enough to just give them a little sandy pattern? Well, questions asked. I won't do any more on that yet. Let's leave him be for them. Alright, now I've got skeletal camel 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate him. I'm going to do a second one in a slightly different position, but I'm going to leave this one as just a skeleton. I'm going to do another one with as carrion with the what do you call it, like partial bits of flesh on him. But I feel like I need to do a vulture then. Okay, let me get an eagle in. This is in my component library, I think. And there we go, animals. Eagle. Right, so we're going to modify this eagle and turn him into a vulture. The reason I'm doing it like this is because it's a very small detail. don't want it to be kind of too dominant on the scene, but also I don't kind of want to spend like loads of time on it. So I give it the general idea that we've got one dead one that's like bones and stuff, and one that's like a bit of carrion in the Oh guys, I was just saying yesterday on stream as well, I don't know if anybody caught it. I ordered this XPF foam, sorry. XPF is it? You know, the dense foam that you use for making terrain with. And I ordered it from a company called Fast Warm. And I think I found them on eBay or something, but they basically they do free shipping. Even I literally spent 10 quid with them on 2 pieces of foam, and I was looking on Amazon and various other places, and I was looking at this foam, and for a 1200 by 600 piece of 20mm XPS foam, it's coming in at like, you know, 10-12 quid a sheet, more in some cases. Some cases, like, you're paying like that much for an A4 size piece. And I ordered this stuff, and it turned up yesterday. Literally the next day after I ordered it, it arrived. And I ordered 2 sheets for just over a tenner. And what I've noticed with it, this stuff's got this like almost like sandy granular texture to the surface. So it's, if you're using it for terrain, you almost don't need to do any kind of extra finishing, you know, if you're trying to keep it flat. So for Crystal Collapse, obviously we're going to be using it for making a demo board. So I'm going to be cutting 40mm like squares out of that, and we're going to assemble a board and stack it all up. What I want to try and do is I want to try and do it on some chunks of so we're debating the texture. Mark says the ripples were a pain in the arse and he wants just a stipple texture. George has come back saying ripples. We'll see what Andy says and see if they can come to a consensus on it. But yeah, so the the foam stuff is like we're going to cut it into 40mm cubes, assemble it into a kind of a 13 by 9 board, and then what we're going to do is take the elevations and stuff, and wherever we've got an exposed side that's internal in the board, I'm just going to carve like a stone type texture into it, and then we'll get some polyfiller on there and we'll build it all up and do some stippling and glue some rocks and stuff in there, and we'll turn it into a nice terrain board that we can use. But I'm going to sculpt a nice, maybe like a boathouse, or we'll do some kind of fantasy building that I'm going to release as an STL file. I will release that. Do like a little boathouse or something like that for Crystal Collapse in 40mm scale that will take up, you know, maybe like 6 by 2 in terms of like physical size, and that way it'll be a nice bit of obstruction terrain. Because the game, when we play the game, it basically, we're looking at different levels of terrain, and then different types of terrain. So we have the blocking stuff, which blocks movement and line of sight. We have obstruction stuff, which blocks movement but not line of sight. So that's like your barriers and like trees and stuff like that. Say, and then we have elevation terrain, which is the stuff that you physically move over and climb up and down. So for a typical game, we want maybe like 2 bits of blocking terrain, maybe up to 5 pieces of obstruction. No, this is this terrain I'm sculpting now. This is for Baron's War, but I'm talking about I'm talking about Crystal Collapse. So I'm sculpting Baron's War, but talking about something different. Right, I'm going to show you something actually, because I've done the website for crystalcollapse.com. So we've set up a new website for it. Literally is crystalcollapse.com, crystal-collapse.com. Now everything on here actually is live and ready for pre-order and everything else, but we haven't started marketing yet. There's a few bits in the back end that are missing. So the store's fine, that works. We've got about Crystal Collapse, we've got a how to play section. So we've got the various different sections for movement, setting up your playing field, what do you need, profile cards. This is all out of order, out of sync, so I need to rejig the ordering on this. So I think what do you need to play should be the first thing before movement, really. But yeah, we've got all the how to play sections, and then we've got Valyria. So that, if you click on Valyria, it tells you about the kingdoms. Some nice pretty artwork, bit of a background story, bit more artwork. Then we come down to like the map. We've got the territories marked on the map, and then each of the kingdoms here. So we've got Varland, which obviously that's Hector, Lysara, Joshua and Nagold. Then Basalia, we've got Corrado, Roland, Lily and Victoria. Geisha, we've got Fina, Hannah, Gil and Taro. And then Rosenberg, so we haven't done Rosenberg yet, that'll be the next faction to come. They're going to be the Rosenberg Rebels. Rebellion, I think. So Max is planning them right now. And then we've got I think it's called Nobodies, which is basically like a lost kingdom. So we've got this thing called Odin's Breath, which is like a fog that descends, and the fog basically it's a little bit like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones kind of thing. So people don't want to go past there kind of thing. So it's like the lost the Lost Kingdom, if you like, round there. So this area over here is all enshrouded in this fog. People don't go in there, so they stay away from it. Once we've got that bit done, thank you, Rich. You go into like Valyria again. We've got Heroes of Valyria, and then we've got House Basalia, House Varland, and the Kingdom of Gaisha. So at the moment, the way this is done, so if I click on House Basalia, you get the blurb about Basalia, a bit of background story for each of the characters, like this. What's missing from here, which we're just waiting to get them all done, is underneath the image of the character, I want a couple of like PDF documents linked in. So we'll have the icons to download, but there'll be like the character card in English and German, and I think that was it actually, just the character cards for them. So you'll be able to kind of download the characters. Yeah, they're all linked in. I've got to double check the link. So basically what it should be, if we go back to Valyria, I don't think these ones are linked at the moment, but yeah, so basically if you come on here, you should click on like Varland. This should be a link that takes you through to the Varland page. And then we've got the Heroes of Valyria. If I click on that, I think is a page on its own. So again, oh, that's why I did it here. So yeah, you click on Heroes of Valyria, it brings you down into this. We can click on View Kingdom of Varland, it takes you to Varland, Basalia, da 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 da. Blog obviously doesn't work, but then one of the other little things I've built, which I quite like, is this guild ranking. So you basically sign up for an account on the website, and then you get this welcome heroes to the Valyria Crystal Seekers Guild. So basically you log in, the first time you log in you get initiate ranking. We click on here, your next rank is Squire. To get Squire you have to earn 25 crystals. So far I've earned 14. So every time you visit the website and log in, you gain a crystal. And the crystals are also earned by gained by earning achievements. So I haven't got any achievements in the list at the moment, but the achievements will have a little icon, and they'll have like a name. So the first one, for example, here, purchase it tells you what to do to get them. So purchase a Crystal Collapse Core or Deluxe Edition game, and there'll be an achievement called Let's Play, and you'll get like a little golden dice icon in your achievements list. So you can comment on posts. So if we put any of the pages, you can put a comment on, and you earn points for comments. Leave us a product review and you'll earn a bunch of points. You know, just engagement, essentially, engagement on the website. No, this is just on the website. They're to do with the game as well, but they're just mostly on the website. So we'll have obviously battle reports on there soon. Yeah, basically, yeah, just a little bit of engagement kind of things. So for submitting battle reports, you'll earn points as well. So we're talking about the living story and stuff. So we're going to have the option on there, like forms in there, that you can submit your battle reports to us and let us know how your games have gone. So when we're actually doing living story tracking, you'll be able to kind of put all your living story reports through, and you'll earn points for submitting. What we haven't done yet is we haven't linked that back to anything in the website. So at the moment it's just a bit of fun and games, just as a little sideline thing, a little side quest type thing. It doesn't actually confer you into any kind of like discounts or store credit or anything else. But what we may do is, when you achieve a certain rank, that you'll get, like, you know, your next order, you get a free X, Y, and Z with it, you know what I mean? So we'll put a few kind of like bonuses in there. So it won't be necessarily just entirely free, like you automatically get it. There might be some way you get like STL files or whatever, but some of the stuff will be things that you get access to as exclusives for engaging, essentially. So that's the site in a nutshell. The plan is that the Heroes of Valyria site grows more and more. as we add new heroes, we'll add them all in. The store at the moment. If you've got any ideas, by the way, Rich, just ping me a message offline and we can have a little look, and if we'll see what we can implement. So, a little note about the 40mm miniatures. Tokens and bases are all produced in 3mm thick MDF and supplied flat pack. And we're holding stock in both the UK and Germany, so when we start fulfilling orders, if you're ordering from Europe anywhere, your orders will be shipped from Germany, which means you're not going to be kind of getting hit with Brexit taxes and whatever else. And obviously if you're ordering from the UK or the US or whatever, then we'll ship from here. Eventually we may look and get some partners over in the States as well, depending on how well it picks up over there. But for now we've got at least 2 different hubs. No, well, I can make them to order, but at the moment I've got like a couple of hundred of everything sat in my office, ready to go. So because when we order the books and stuff like that, we're going to be ordering like 1,000 at a time. So we need to sell 1,000 copies really. We don't want stock of them sat around. Yeah, I'm printing them all here. I've got whole loads of them sitting around, so they're all top quality. They're all the good stuff. But yeah, so you can go on here, you can pre-order the game, you can get the core edition, you can get the deluxe edition with the MDF book box, and then we've got the individual faction packs to buy. I don't know why mine's showing me in dollars. It should be showing me in pound sterling because that's my default currency. I don't know why it's doing dollars for me, but it is. So yeah, so basically whenever you do any of these kind of bits, you buy anything, you'll get achievements and stuff, and then when you log in, like I'll have an email in my inbox now saying you've earned a crystal shard for logging into Crystal Collapse today. So you just get that little bit of a prompt and a reminder and stuff. But yeah, it's all good. We enjoyed building the site actually. We've still got a little bit of a way to go with the form submission side of things, but in essence the site is live. I had a bit of an issue with it last week, because there's a thing called Jetpack that sits in the back end, and because I linked it to the new domain, thank you very much, Rich. Yeah, because I linked it to this new domain, it was having a bit of a strop about it. Like, kind of didn't want to do it. And it takes like 3 days for it to kind of pick up and register everything properly, so yeah, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the progress on it so far. We just need to get the actual game out there now. So I think Max is doing some. I think he's doing them today actually. He's doing some videos for gameplay. Oh, actually, that's what I didn't show you. Oh yeah, just literally as you say it, mate. So if we go to the About Crystal Collapse, go how to play. So what do you need? So there you go. So there'll be pictures on here as well eventually, and then for the sections about the game here, how to play, that are relative. The Max is doing some videos that will kind of help to do things. So we're talking about terrain here. So in the core box we give you a play mat, some MDF terrain, but obviously it's a tabletop miniatures game. We want to encourage you to create your own and even maybe make your own gaming boards. So the terrain I was talking about earlier is on here, standard sizes, and kind of, I haven't finished that one. I must have got bored halfway through a sentence here and walked off. And again, like movement. So we're talking about movement. We've got a couple of pretty pictures of the terrain that Max made. We've got a bit about the profile cards. About passive abilities, active abilities, the stats on the cards, what they all are. We are going to have a little PDF version of the book available as well, so We'll be selling that as like maybe like a £5 for a PDF download. A bit about actions. So what I've done in this, by the way, is rather than taking the text verbatim out of the rule book, what I've done is I've put a little bit of my own spin on it, kind of giving you some like tips and pointers about the different things rather than just telling you what's in the rule book. And what else is in there? Yeah, basically it's that anyway. Phoenix84 over on YouTube, thank you for the sub. It's got to make this vulture's neck at the back now, so it's got the S bend in the neck. But yeah, I'll say Max is off making some videos. There's a chap called Marcel who has a YouTube channel. He's got some content from Crystal Collapse that Max has given him. So he's got a set of the models I've sent over, the playing mat and everything else. And Marcel's going to be doing some reviews and some playthroughs as well. So we'll be linking his website in there too. And then next thing we need to do is get some more gaming going on, so get more people playing. Let's just do a little oops. Now that I've set the draw size so much bigger on my brush, or the maximum draw size, it's a little bit more wily on the slider. We're going to be running Facebook ads, mate. We're going to be doing some. We're planning on running the launch like a Kickstarter campaign. So I've got a mailing list. We're going to be sending out to. There's about 1,600 people on the mailing list for that. Then we've got Max's audience from Nanolith. Obviously it's an anime themed game. It's cyberpunk, but you know, it's still anime type. So we'll be sending those guys a heads up about it as well, let them know it's coming and see if any of them come and pre-order it. There's about 2,500 of them. So we've got a decent pool of people to start with. And then we're just going to have a look and see what we can do in terms of like if anybody else can kind of come on board. We'd like to do some like affiliate type marketing with people, ideally. I've been burned badly in the past by marketing campaigns where they kind of charge you for the marketing, and then you don't really see what they're doing for it. I'd rather do it in such a way that we say, right, you know, here's your affiliate link, get pimping it, and then we'll pay you a percentage of sales that you generate, and that way at least the people who are marketing have got the incentive to to kind of do a good job for you. But funnily enough, a lot of people don't really want to work like that. They just want a big wedge of cash, and then it comes down to whether or not, you know, you've picked right or not. I was looking at tabletop gaming as well. I was looking at an advertisement there, but the cost of that's quite significant for a magazine publication, and I'm always wary about like the whole thing about advertising in a magazine, because I feel like magazines are like, I don't know, kind of maybe a bit old hat now. You know, do people still bother with even things like Beasts of War? You know, with so many YouTube channels and so much like social media kind of stuff, is Beasts of War still a thing? Do people still go to places like that for wargaming info, and you know, is it worth paying for? And I don't know the answer to it. Do you know what I mean? That's the honest truth. Yeah, on tabletop. They're always at the UK Games Expo doing the marketing, doing the media side of things. So obviously they have a presence still. But it's not about their presence, it's about their reach. Do you know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. It's not like I can give it to anybody. Give the game to anybody and get them to do a review of it and pay them for it, and they'll do it. Do you know what I mean? Like most YouTubers will do it, but again, it's trying to find the ones who have got the proper audience, and that's it. There's so many channels now, everything's just so diluted. And then the other thing as well that I find is like, if you get somebody who's a respectable YouTuber and they're there like shilling for a product, you you're kind of sitting there kind of going, oh, you've sold out. This is like kind of give up on them and stop watching them because they're advertising something. It's not something you want to see. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got to make sure that, like, I want people to advertise the game for us, but I want them to do it because they love the game and they genuinely, like, if I'm enthusiastic about something, I will sell it till the cows come home. Do you know what I mean? Like Lychee Slicer, for example. I use lychee all the time. I think it's a brilliant slicer. If you're doing support work all the time and everything else, it's worth its weight in gold. If you're doing occasional support work, then even the free version is worthwhile getting. But I would advocate anybody getting into resin 3D printing to go and get Lychee Slicer, and I can't see a downside to it, right? So I will absolutely, more than happily, pimp it, plug it, promote it, and whatever else for free because I believe in the product. Same for ZBrush. It's got flaws like no one's business, but I genuinely think it's an amazing bit of kit. And anybody kind of getting into sculpting miniatures really should be kind of looking at it as an investment in the future rather than, bloody hell, that's a lot to pay for a bit of software. So we have all these kinds of things, but again, like I say, I want somebody who's got that level of enthusiasm for the game to kind of like be plugging it and promoting it, because when they're talking about it, you know full well if somebody's promoting something because they're paid to do it, or if they're promoting it because they love it and they want to share the experience. And that's what we're after. Hey, you're right, how you doing, matey? Just making some vultures. Waiting to head home? Early in the day to go home, innit? Or are you literally like waiting for 5 o'clock? Have you got a lunchtime departure today? But yeah, Rich, if you got any contacts in the YouTubey kind of promo type, yeah, I can't be doing with 40k. I cannot get excited about a bloody Space Marine. Do you know what I mean? I just can't do it. Never mind, Aid. We're all saddle owners all together then. Alright, Aid. Yeah, you should do it, man. I would warn you though, it's like if you want to do streaming as a job, it's hard. I mean, I don't stream for a living. I'm not trying to make a living out of streaming. You know, my business is my business. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to earn a living from the streaming. If I earn any income from it, it's a bonus. But it's more about the actual physical act of sitting down and sculpting and just being accountable for it for me. But if you want to do it as a thing and earn a bit of money out of it, you need to be hardcore with it. I think be there every day and oh yeah. I'll mentor you, Aid. I know that's not what you're talking about, man. Just messing. Yeah. Saving down now then, so we've got a vulture in the animals library as well. Rich, to be fair mate, just do it. If the missus is trying to push you to buy a printer, don't be daft and say no. Oh, well, that's a bargain, that is. Yeah, get it. Do it, man. It's a fantastic printer. I say I've got one myself, and I absolutely love it. The lighty profile, actually, the starter profile that it kind of gave me was pretty much bang on as well. So there was I barely had to do any tweaking or anything on my calibration. But yeah, it's been solid and reliable. It's definitely one that's worthwhile picking up. And as I ramp up my my production, I've just installed a load more workbenches in my printing area. So I've got a longer workbench in there. I've got capacity in there for about another 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, I still use the 4K resin. The frozen 4K resin and the Anycubic Standard Plus. Although the latter stinks, and I'm not so keen on the colouring of it. But yeah, the frozen 4K stuff's is the danglies. Right, let me just mute you a second. I've got a call coming in. So it's food o'clock. Let's get back on the route. Okay. So this guy is going to go copy and yeah, wasn't it? Well, that's a bit big for a vulture, isn't it? That kind of size, maybe. I've got some little floaty bits here, let's get rid of them. Another one there. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to merge it together. I'm going to inflate it a touch. And what I want to do, I want to turn this into a kind of a skin, but I want it to still have the kind of the shape of the bones in there. So like there's a carcass rather than just a. This is the one what you call it's going to be in the. Good man. So let's see, bow into a bit of peer pressure. Oh, do you know what you say about that? I've heard a lot about it, and like my wife, she was terrible with it the other week. We bought new carpet for the kids' playroom because the carpet was the original carpet that we had in. This is when I ended up decorating the room with like 3 days to go. But the carpet in there was still the original carpet from when we bought the house. We've been in the house about 7 or 8 years now. And yeah, basically she went out determined to buy this carpet, and she had to get it on the day. Wasn't going to take no for an answer. Really, she wanted vinyl in there so the kids can like make a mess. We can clean it up. But because we've got this weird step, the carpet guys were like, "No, we can't do it. We can't put we can't put carpet in there for you. You'll have to have. Sorry, we can't put vinyl in there because it'll tear. You'll have to have carpet. And I said, well, let's go back and we'll we'll measure up and we'll sort it all out. No, I'm not going backwards and forwards. We're getting this carpet today. So she gets the carpet. Ends up spending a bit more than we wanted to spend on it, but only marginally. And then literally we walk out of the shop and she turns to me and she goes, I can't believe we just spent that much on a thing. We could have put that towards a couple of days away. It's like, we could have had a weekend away in a hotel for the same kind of price. It's like, well, yeah, but then the carpet would still need to be done, wouldn't it? we'd come full circle and we'd still have to do, you go and have this weekend away in a hotel somewhere. Yeah, it'd be nice, but we'd come back and there'd still be a carpet required. You won't regret the printer, mate. It's a brilliant printer. And you know me, I wouldn't often say that about an Elegoo. But they've outdone themselves with the Ultra models. Largely because they don't have that stupid build plate, but what? Fixed all the bugbears? Haven't made any bugbears. Not yet, anyway. Oh, Elegoo, yeah. Well, only on the Ultra models, unfortunately. They still exist on the normal versions. I mean, you know me, my biggest issue with it is this spring-loaded ball joint that they use on the build plate. I just think it's a ridiculous design. I don't understand why they've to make a budget printer. They've over-engineered a build plate almost just so they can say it's their own. To the detriment of the print quality and ease of use and stuff like that. Like, surely, at their level, for entry-level printers and stuff, ease of use, reliability and stuff like that should be, absolutely top of their priority list, but obviously it's not. And I don't get it. I don't get why it wouldn't be. Do you know what? I don't think you'll see a lot of difference between the 12K and the 8K. Oh, sorry, you will if you're printing miniatures, but otherwise you wouldn't. An 8K printer of that size is basically the same as a 4K, which, in fact, sorry, no, 8K is all you really need. I don't think you'll see a difference between an 8K and a 4K unless you go up to like a 15-inch printer. I think if you're staying in the lower end of the market, I think you're fine. I don't mean lower end of the market in terms of like quality. I'm talking about like size, not print size. So once you get up to that, many times you accidentally pulled the plate off? Yeah, that's it. You'd have to settle for the old spring-loaded plate if you're going for the 4K. I'll say for my money here, it's like the 8K, sorry, the 12K Ultra or nothing as far as LED goes. Oh, sorry, the Mars as well. They do the Mars Ultra, don't they? Mars 4 Ultra. So I think you'd be okay with that, but. Have they made a decision on the ripples? Yeah, totally, mate. That's it. One of the perks of the bigger printers, obviously, is being able to print more stuff and bigger stuff. But you got to remember as well, when you go for the bigger printers, you end up using a lot more resin. And if your prints fail, you end up like wasting a lot more resin as well. That's why I still think it's a bit like when people are kind of saying, "Oh, I want to get into resin printing," you always get people going there, going straight in with the, you know. Everybody wants the, they want to recommend like the Saturn, get the bigger printer so you can get straight in with it. You forget obviously there's a learning curve where people are going to mess up and they're going to get things wrong. And obviously the downside of getting things wrong with resin prints is that the failures cost you money. And the more volume of stuff you're tempted to try and cram on that print bed, the more expensive your failures are going to become. And that's not even looking at consumables, you know, this is just literally the cost of resin on a failed print. So even for new printers, I would always recommend. I mean, if you want to go for a smaller printer just to reduce your things, then the Mars 4K, Mars 4. Okay, Andy likes the look of the ripples. But he thinks the stippled surface is more viable for a playing surface. Oh, zombie camel. Got zombie dogs, don't we? And then has anybody ever done a zombie camel before? Me neither. Light pass with a large brush first. Do a pass with a smaller brush then, give it a little bit more finer texture. Important here, I've got the bottom masked off, so the brush has got a random spray on it as well, so this is not regular, and then I'm just going in like all sorts of random haphazard fashion. So you did, mate. I think you sent me a picture of your Crocs. Fair play to him. My nephew Frankie is obsessed with his Crocs. It's weird. You ever seen the video of the, I think it's a possum on a fence with his nuts caught in between the fence planks, and this guy goes up and he's like, "Oh, little dude's got his nuts caught," and he goes up and he goes to like free him, but he's wearing Crocs. The first thing he does, he goes up, he goes, "Oh, let's just put these bad boys into sports mode first." And he just slips them off and changes the orientation of the strap. Hey now, Dracula, how you doing? Oops, that's the wrong brush. Coming in to see me sculpt an undead camel. Well, it's not undead. It's properly dead. It's set dressing for a historical game, so no zombies in this one. Very good, thank you. So just working my way through this this sculpt. If you've got any questions, feel free to fire away. If you've got anything you want to share or you want to just chat about anything, then we're good with it. Your DM lets you spend an action to get an advantage on acrobatics checks by putting your Crocs in sports mode. Oh, mate, love it. Oh, cheers, nerd. Let's have a little look at the other stuff. Are you a sculptor or a gamer, or what's your jam, nerd? Make the skin look a bit baggy, like it's a little bit. Let's put this bad boy up on his leg. Looking at the open stomach, going, yeah, I'm gonna eat you. Or actually, do you know what? I'm gonna flip him. Let's flip him. I'm gonna plonk him there. Sweet, there we go. Thanks for the sub, nerd. Right then. I'm just going to drag his tail down into the sand so there's more connection there. And it means I'm going to faff around putting supports down there. Oops, I accidentally dragged his claw down. That's not intended. Not that you'd particularly see it there, but just going to extend his wingtips out, so again I can touch the wing to the camel carcass. Not have to support him there. I do need to get one under there now. It sucks, but there you go. Is what it is. I'm quite pleased with that grizzly little thing. That's I am making a dead a dead camel in a sand dune. You know, just like, you know, an everyday sculpt really. A weird dead cat with a really tiny vulture on it. Alright, let's try and get a render of this dude. This is when I send this over now, and the guys come back and go, do you know what? Actually, what's going on? No, I spelled snipping wrong. I didn't want to search for it. I was trying to undo it. Yeah, it's when they come back and they go, yeah, we want you to do the ripples on the sand now instead, because we don't like that. Do you know what, Aid? Oh god. Ah! Bugger off. No, don't do see-through. Stop. Bring it back. Thanks for the prompt, mate. It's been a while since I saved. I think I've had a few auto-saves rocking, but... Screenshots for the guys. Okay, one carrion camel with vulture. Put the vulture in there too. Right, now we're going to go and do the normal skeletal camel. So I've already kind of done this guy already actually, so let's just do his dunes. Let's turn dynamic off so this is easier. / possible. I feel like it would be an impossible task without the thingy on. We're going to do a larger draw size. We're going to go stipple, 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 stipple. Okay, this is just the illusion of ground texture. Not to be a photorealistic sandy desert or any of that kind of business. I'm going to make it smaller now. We'll do another brush size smaller. I'm going to press a little harder on this one too, so it's going to be a little bit more noticeable. We'll do a fur pass with a smaller brush, but we're going to invert that one so it gives us a few like standy up grains. Should at the very minimum give you something you can just dry brush. Now you could obviously just, if you're getting this, you could just lob a load of sand over it, PVA glue. Sorry, PVA glue and then sand. Because sand and PVA glue would just be a right bloody mess, wouldn't it? Or you could use some of that, you know, that kind of texture paint. People still use masonry paint on models. You know, the stuff's like got sand in it. In fact, is masonry paint even a thing, or is this something my dad used to just do? I'm not even sure. Remember years ago him painting the house, and he painted it with a like a massive great big bucket of white masonry paint, and it had a sandy texture to it. And I used to use it for my models. He had a bit left over, and I used to use it for the bases on terrain. Part of me now is thinking my dad, being my dad, probably just lobbed a handful of sand into a into a bucket of paint. I've just noticed this here. So this bone actually isn't attached to anything. Hey Bonker, how we doing, matey? You've been here the whole time, just hiding out, have you? Oh, you little socialite. Really good, thank you, mate. Paid the tax man and done all of that business, which is never pleasant, is it? In fact, I need you all to go and buy like a load of stuff from my website now. You need to go and spend loads of money on my web store. Help me out with my tax bill. Make sure certain areas are in context where I'm going to try and faff around and get supports under them. That's it. No, so I can just afford it, man. I mean, I never thought I'd say I'd hope I'd have to pay tax, but I'm hoping we end up having to register for VAT soon. Only because that means we've hit the earnings threshold that we needed to do it. We've got through all the years so far just cruising just below it, and because we're putting Crystal Collapse live imminently, I'm hoping that helps to push us over the tax threshold, so we end up having to pay VAT. I mean, I don't relish the idea of giving the taxman another 20%, but it's a sign of success, isn't it? If nothing else. Melting out of boredom. What time are you clocking off, dude? Hours. Oh, nice. 4 o'clock finish for you then. Oh, God, my back. Ow. Well, let's hide me 2 camels. Let's get the skeleton horse in there now. So we're going to do the same with the horse. We're going to do a live, well, I say a live, but a dead version, and we're going to do, I'll talk about, they're both dead. We're going to do 2 dead horses in sand dunes, and these ones are going to be on, same as the camel, 1 carrion and 1 just skeletal. If I've got any anime fans on stream, I want to kind of recommend a program called Delicious in Dungeon to you. In fact, any D&D fans even, actually, I think you should watch this. Really good, yeah. It's basically, you've got this group of adventurers, and like literally right at the very beginning, the one guy, his sister gets eaten by a dragon, and then they get kind of, as she's getting eaten, cast a spell to send them out and teleport them out of the dungeon. But then like on quite a low level of this dungeon, so they've like raided and got all the gear and treasure and stuff, but they leave it all behind when they get teleported out, so they teleport back to the surface with nothing. But it's like, it's one of those things where like when you die you can get resurrected with magic and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, the first time I died it was because a slime suffocated me or whatever, and they have this whole kind of like, you know, D&D type fantasy side of things. And they decide they're going to go back into the dungeon and try and like rescue his sister, and they're like, can you resurrect somebody after they've been pooed out, kind of thing. And it's like, it's that whole kind of like thing going on. So they're on a mission to go back into the dungeon, but they've got no money, they've got no only the equipment on their back and whatever. And they get into the dungeon and they're like, yeah, we're gonna survive by living off the dungeon ecosystem. So like, there's plants down here, there's herbivores that eat the plants, and there's carnivores that eat the herbivores. If they can all live in survive in a dungeon, then we can too. So they're down there trying to like basically live off just eating monsters. It's just It's kind of a cross between Dungeons and Dragons and MasterChef. It's quite an unusual. I don't know if you ever played things like what's that, Little Dragon's Diner and things like that. Yeah, go for it, Abe. Far away. Yeah. You know, we wind my niece up with that all the time because she's vegetarian, which, like, you know, fair enough. But she's an absolute nutter when it comes to like the ethics of it, and she's got to the point where she's so extreme with her views that she's like, if you, like I once made a joke about eating a rabbit. Like her pet rabbit kind of thing. Her mum was saying like she got no food in the house and didn't have anything to eat, and not in a kind of like we're poor and we're starving kind of way, but like they hadn't been shopping and whatever. No, this is my niece. This is so. My wife's sister basically turns around and says, "Oh, we haven't got any food in the house." And I'm like, "All right, well, do you mean you got no food in the house? You got 2 perfectly good rabbits out there in the back garden." And my niece flipped. She went absolutely mental, and she was kind of like, "How about we just eat you instead?" And it's like, whoa, you got dark fast, man. It's just like obviously I'm joking, but there she's kind of like absolutely kind of like mortified at the idea you'd even suggest such a thing, and like literally goes to the point of, let's just eat you, shall we? And it's like, God's sake, this is like, you know, this is another level of it. This is. It's like she's a candidate to join PETA, I think, when she's older. I'll say when she's older. She's 21 now, so she could do it any time, really, but. Oh man, you're going to end up on a watch list. I've heard the whole thing about human meat being like pork, and that's why you should never give like a dog like sausages or bacon or anything like that. You get a taste for human flesh. I mean, I'm sure that's like absolute nonsense, like. But. So wait, did you watch Dharma then? Let's get this horse into a dune. My music gone again, man. Really? I don't know. Yeah, the other funny thing with that Delicious in Dungeon is like they're catching things like, you know, like the like mushroom characters, like little living mushrooms and things, and like scorpions, and there's an episode, the latest episode's called Orcs and Cabbage or something like that. So I'm interested to see what that one's going to be. I mean, I kind of can't imagine them eating an orc. Is cooking anime a thing, is it? I mean, I suppose I never really thought about it as a genre in itself. I just thought it was a nice little extension of kind of an RPG type vibe. I say I like it because it's got the whole Dungeons and Dragons type, you know, all the all the monsters and the dungeons and. Yuru camp, what's that? Oh, I've never even heard that one. Your office they leave the toilet window open all the time, do they? When I used to work in an office, we used to have some stinky characters go and make deposits around about the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock mark. We used to call it the brown hour. Yeah, we used to have to keep the windows open as well because the extraction wasn't quite sufficient during that period of time to remove the stank. Okay, let's get this textured first, then we'll clone it, and then we'll do the wrong brush. What was going on with that then? Reduce it down, we'll do some smaller stippling. Oh, the other reason for having the office toilet cold, mate, by the way, is stop people spending too much time in there. They want you at your desk, don't they? They don't want you out in the toilet all the day. So, spotted something on the render then. This bit down here. Got a rough edge going on. What I think I'm going to do is slice the bottom of this off, because I think I've rounded it off by accident. I'll take it to about there. Guys, give me a sec whilst just calling. So guys, forgot to take it off mute then. Okay, right, that one's done. Before I go and do the carrion horse, I'm gonna go grab another brew, quick loo break, rustle up a quick sandwich. So I'm gonna pop you guys on a BRB, so you can have a couple of minutes to go and peruse my wares, go and buy some stuff from the store, all that kind of good stuff. If anybody wants it, we've got a discount available. In fact, I'll put this in the thing, but there's I think today's the last day of the winter sale on the website, but I'll give you 25% off everything anyway. So if the sale code's not live, I think it is for the rest of today. If the sale code's not live, then that will get you the discount as well. Well, guys, do not go away. I won't be too long. I'll catch you in a bit. See you in a minute. Hey guys, I'm back now. Sorry for the delayed return. Got the wife coming in and running around like some whirling dervish, kind of trying to get herself turned around to get out for a PTA meeting. If anybody ever asks you to join a PTA, don't do it, it's a cult. Okay. Alright, so the next one we need to do is this carrying horse then, so let's just take these bits. Now, that's it guys, just left the outside. There we go. when I do get these printable, they're going to be hollowed out on the inside with a couple of like supporting ridges. Now let's just sort this texturing out. So I textured it, but then I stretched it. So just invert the texture. A small one, so we've got like little granular bits, like little grains of sand. I need to duplicate him. I'm going to dynamesh it and merge it all together. I'm going to inflate everything. that'll go. Yeah, I used to get proper on a roll sometimes with the sculpting, and an autosave would happen and I'd be like, nope, not today, thank you. I'll shut the autosaves down every single time. I mean, this was back on my old PC when an autosave could take 20 minutes on a big file. So if I'm on my stride, it was really kind of like detrimental to my kind of my speed and my motivation to kind of let it go. So I just used to cancel them, and then you get the old crash happen. That was even worse. Quick save. Let's just get down here and do some stranding on here. put your dynamic back on. And snipping. I'll just send over some images as a client work. That one. Right, let's save that. Let's get this stream wrapped up. I've got a few walls to do, but I'm going to do them offline I think later on. Let's have a bit of a tidy up in here because I've got the kids coming down after they've come back from school. Give Hayley a little bit of time to crack on and do some work. Okay, so I'm going to say thank you to all for subscribing today, for joining me, and for keeping me company while I've been doing some weird sculpts. But yeah, thank you all very much, guys, and I'll be back Monday, I think. I may do another one this week yet, but I'll definitely be back on Monday. So I don't see you in the morning. See you until then. Oh god, I'm tired, man. I don't know what I'm saying. God. Okay. Right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you later.